Hey everyone, how are you this evening? I'm Shonda
Ursula.
and we are SheEO Boss.
Yes, we are.
Welcome to our podcast. It's kind of looking something similar to our lives that we were doing before.
Back together again.
The dynamic duo.
That part.
How was everyone's Thanksgiving? I hope everyone had an opportunity to spend time with family and eat some really good food. I know we did. We had some great food. We had a great time together.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's time to work off all of that extra food we ate.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of working all that out, we're going to give a shout out to our personal trainer.
That part.
He is going to get us back in shape. Bricked Up Fitness. After the holidays, if you haven't already subscribed, you need to subscribe, get your membership, get your personal plan all put together so you can work off those pounds and be beach summer ready.
That part.
Yeah.
So we are back, and we have a couple of guests tonight, actually.
We do.
And we're excited. One is Shonda's cousin, Wooden Maven, Shar Miller
King.
Okay.
Mhm.
I should have remembered that because
Yeah.
Keisha King, one of my good friends, that's going to be on here soon.
Yeah.
And also, we have my mentor, Stacie D. Williams. She started her business the legal way. She's a paralegal. Shar is a wooden maven, and she does wood shop work.
With all kind of woodwork.
She makes furniture and everything. So, yeah. So these are women. So
Yes.
that's the. Nothing's wrong with men. We love men too. Got a husband. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But we really, really, really love it when the women get involved and they become CEOs, which it equates to a SheEO for us.
Correct.
So that's just like, all right. So anyway, we are going to be speaking tonight on starting a business, the key elements of starting a business, and we want to elaborate on a few things that are part of, starting a business. We had on our last one, we had spoke a little bit about LLCs, corporations, incorporated, things like that. The part of that, what the definitions were. I'm sorry. So we brought that to the table our last podcast, the week before last, because we were here last week. So now we're introducing the key elements after you start your LLC or you start your incorporation or corporation, S Corp, C Corp, whatever the case may be, even a nonprofit.
Right.
So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. What the key elements to that would be, and building your brand on top of your business. But right now, we want to get to the Wooden Maven, which is Shar Miller King.
Yeah.
We want to bring her onto our podcast.
Yeah, she's 3 hours ahead of us, so that's whole Eastern time.
Hi.
There she is. Hi, Shar.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Wonderful.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast. We know it's like the bewitching hour over there in Atlanta.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Yes. You've been a busy lady.
I have been busy.
I know. I've been watching you. I've been stalking, insta stalking.
Yes, things are heating up.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Exactly. So tell us what's been going on lately. What the shows you've been on and all of that.
Let's see. I've done Restoration Row with Clint Hart. That's airing on Discovery Plus.
Okay.
I did a commercial last weekend with a car company, which I cannot disclose yet, but that will be airing on TV One next month. And it'll be streaming online. I may be having a show next year. That's still TBD. With TV, it's hurry up and do this, and then it's just a long waiting game. With television, so when it happens, it will happen. But until now, I'm just I'm teaching in person and also teaching online, and I'm starting to travel again to teach as well, which is good. I'll be teaching at a coveted art school in North Carolina next summer. So we've already started planning for that. I'm really excited to just be able to share these skills with people all over the country.
Now, as a female in the woodworking industry, how did you get started?
How did I get started? Well, 10 minutes with me, you will know that I'm probably not typical in any sense of the word, but believe it or not, I guess it was almost 20 years ago when I graduated from college, I could not afford the bed that I wanted. So I figured out how to build it. And without giving my age away, there was no YouTube. YouTube had not been invented yet.
Okay.
So I really had nothing to go on except for a picture. And I figured out how to build this bed. It took me 3 months. And I borrowed a drill from my manager at the time and brought a $10 battery-powered screwdriver. And I built this bed. And I slept on the bed for 7 years. It never broke, never fell out of it. And that sort of bit the bug for me to start making. So I did. And most of the things I made at first were pretty bad. But, you know, your family always supports you no matter what. And that's the one thing that I can say is that my family has always supported me 110% with whatever endeavor that I've chosen, no matter how far off the beaten path it is. I don't like to take the same road as everybody else to get to where I want to get to. I want to pave my own way, and I'll get there probably in a way that no one saw coming.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, as far as you starting your brand, because like one of our topic tonight is the key elements of starting a business. What have you learned with branching off from corporate America, starting your own business, about branding and marketing and getting yourself out there, like, you know, to be the wooden maven?
Not being afraid to be yourself. And I think so many of us want to emulate someone else's success or take the path that someone else has taken. But it's important to find out what that thing about you is different from everybody else in your space. And that is what is going to ultimately make you stand out. I think initially I didn't like being the only female or the only person of color in a woodshop group or a class or a meeting, because I just wanted to be a woodworker. I didn't want to be a Black female woodworker. But I realized lately that I have to lean into that. That is what makes me, that is the one thing that makes me different from most of the people in the field. So I celebrate that. And I also try to shy away from the fact that I was this mom, because I didn't want people to view me as like older, you know, I wanted to be relatable. But then I realized, you know, the longer you run away from who you really are, the harder it will be for you to succeed. And people relate to people that are genuine and authentic. So I celebrate the fact that I am a woman, that I am Black, that I am a mom of 4, that because all of those things are key elements to the story that will inspire somebody else to say, okay, maybe I can leave corporate America and do what I really want to do with my life. And for the people who say they're too busy, I say, don't tell me that you're too busy. with one kid or no kid, right? Because I'm doing it with 4. And a lot of people talk about balance, and I always tell them there is no such thing as balance. So stop trying to get balance and gain balance and understand it, because it just isn't. Mm-hmm. You pick which battles you want to fight each day, and remember what is important. I've turned down television shows that have asked me to leave my family for 6 weeks at a time. Mm. And of course, I don't want to do that. And what I always tell people in business and in branding yourself and going after your dreams is to be hungry, but not thirsty. And I know that has a slang connotation when we call people, oh, that person is thirsty. When someone says they're thirsty, that means they are trying too hard to get something, right? But when someone is hungry, they are going after their dreams with passion. Wow. And that is my focus. Yes. Do I want a television show? Of course, but I'm not willing to sacrifice the people who anchor me to get to this point, to get there. Yeah. So there are a million other ways that I am going to help people. And it may not be the path that I originally thought it was going to be.
And I like that. Be hungry, not thirsty. So you're going after everything you are and still staying true to who you are.
Exactly.
Wow. That is
exactly.
That's one of those good jewels, those nuggets that you put right here in the front. You don't put it in the back or tuck it in your pocket. You put it right there in the front.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Never forget it.
Gee whiz. I mean, I've been, like she said, Insta stalking you. And just all the things that you do are super amazing. These big old saws and all these power tools. I mean, you don't remotely look like anybody that will be wielding these big old power tools. And I think that's another thing that makes you stand out. Is you're just like, you're a model. You're that model type. And a model with this big old powers tool, I don't know. I don't think I could. Do you think you could?
No. But and to what she said about, basically finding your niche and sticking to what it is that you do, your own path, and then making that work. A lot of times people, we deal with clients all the time. I was talking to a potential client today, and she was telling me she didn't exactly know what she wanted to do. And it's our job to guide them in a direction that we find after listening to what they want, consultations with them, that we discover what it is that their niche is through the consultation. Mm-hmm. So then it's our job to guide them down that path, because a lot of times people will get in things that they have no idea, and they're like, okay, I want to be a cook, but you're really a hairdresser, right? And not, you don't even know the first thing about being a chef, so you can't get into something that's not your lane. You stay in your lane, So that I really agree with you when you said that. And then you're a mother of 4, and I can relate to that. How do you do that? How do you manage? Because I'm trying to understand it. You travel so much, and I'm like, I tried it when we were doing insurance heavily.
Yeah,
I tried traveling. We did it for like 6 months. Girl, I was through. I was just like, and we have a lot of kids too. And I was just like, you know what? This is for the birds. It's not going to work. So I don't even understand how you do it with 4 kids, and you have been with you. I see.
Well, I really have to give all of my love and respect to my husband, because there's no way that I would be in this position without him, without his support. All of this would mean nothing to me if I didn't have his support. Wow. And my kids, of course, they hate it when I leave. But what I have learned to do is, one, show them the fruits of my labor, right? So I said, okay, mommy is going out of town for this, and this is what I'm going to be doing. And then as a follow-up, I'll say, okay, let's go on a trip. And we were able to go on this trip because I worked. And with the last thing that I did with the commercial is, so I have an agent who, you know, works on my contracts and my deals and make sure that we're getting paid what we're supposed to be getting paid. And the director of the commercial said he wanted to involve my children. And I said, well, are you going to compensate my children? And they say yes. They didn't give me a dollar amount, but I told my agent that's the purpose of an agent is they get in the weeds so you don't have to. So I got paid. I got my kids paid. And I told the kids they were getting paid to be in this commercial. Okay. And I said, how much? I didn't tell them how much because you shouldn't tell your kids how much you make. Right. You shouldn't, because then they have this, they don't understand the concept yet of money. So I'd never tell them how much I get paid. And I said, well, how much would you guys like to get paid? And they were scared to throw out numbers. You know, they were like $185 or something. And I said, okay. And then my oldest, she's like, well, I think I should get $500.
How old is she?
Because already 14.
Oh, okay.
She said, I already have 500.
She got a clue.
Right. She knows.
Yes.
So I want to be transparent with the people who are listening because I want to, add some value to their lives. So I told the kids that I would pay each of them $350 for being in the commercial. And I said, your 10% needs to go back to church. I said, this is the amount that you need to put in your bank account that you cannot touch until college. And they each have debit cards. There's a company that makes debit cards, puts their picture on the cards. So I put, I think, a couple hundred, maybe 150 or something on their debit cards. And I said, the rest I'll give you in cash. Wow. So when we go to the store, if you want to buy chips or whatever, but what I wanted to show them is you work, you earn money, you get paid, and this is what you do with your money. That's right. Wow. Right? At an early age, I'm like, if you work, you will get money, but you do not get money by doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And you call the shots, right? So instead of saying, I'm glad a couple years ago I decided not to push them out of the picture, right? Mm-hmm. So the only way for me to do this is to include them. Uh-huh. So they get to be a part of it. And then I am truly practicing what I preach and say, okay, I'm a woodshop teacher. I teach kids, mm-hmm. But I don't teach my own kids, right? Wouldn't be right. Right. But they come, the production crew came to my house and, they're recording me using these tools. And then my kids come out and it's like, they just fall right into place. They know what to do. It's not like, well, what is this tool, mommy? Mm-hmm. Or what do I do with this? Mm-hmm. And they're saying, oh, can you hand me the chisel, please? Or, first we need to drill a pilot hole. Oh yeah, we're going to help pour the epoxy today. Oh, wow. So they know because I involve them. I don't force it on them. I don't say you have to be a woodworker. Right. You need to know wood shop. I just naturally involve them in it. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people don't want to involve their kids in it. Maybe they are in an industry where they can't, but I would just encourage people to find that sweet spot, whatever it is. I mean, if you're a financial planner, you're trying to start your own business and you say, well, why would I involve my child in this? How could I get my kid involved with this? Mm-hmm. Give them a small problem. You can take one of your clients and say, okay, give them a fictitious name. Okay, Joe has $1,000. Use round numbers. Mm-hmm. And Joe wants to save $50,000. Something like that. Right. Get play money, whatever to get them involved and share that knowledge and pass that information on to the next generation. But that is honestly, I think, how I'm able to do some of what I do, is because they're a part of it. They have to be a part of it. I mean, it's like take your kid to work day every day for me.
Yeah, that's cool. See, you have 4, and one is 14. And what's the age of the other 3?
My son is 9 and 6-year-old twin girls.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part about being an entrepreneur. You can
Right.
dictate what you want to do, and you can involve your family. That's what I love about it.
Exactly.
The freedom of it.
It's a lot of freedom.
It is. One of the trips that I took this summer, I was able to bring my husband with me. So it's all expense paid, flight, hotel, and we get to have these incredible experiences. And my sole job is to create content for social media.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
Really?
That's it.
I want to do what you do.
Look, I honestly get up every day and walk outside and say, I know that I have favor.
Right.
Because it's interesting once you get out into the world. And I know you guys get to talk to a lot of different people, especially people that are trying to start their own business. But there are all these unique people that you didn't think exist. Like growing up, we thought, okay, you're a doctor, lawyer, secretary, bank teller. But there's all these like cool jobs out there, and jobs that people have created, and jobs that pay good money that you would not even know. The car commercial that I did, there was a guy pulls up in the car, and I'm thinking, oh, they got this car from the dealership, and somebody has to drop it off. And over the course of the weekend, I start talking to this guy because he's there the whole day. 2 days we were filming. And every drip that got on the car, he's wiping it. When they need the car positioned in a certain spot, he's parking it. So come to find out, his title for his job is car handler. That's a job. Handler.
Wow.
So his sole job is to make sure that the vehicle gets to where it's supposed to go safely, that he stays with it, that the integrity of the brand of the vehicle is being protected. So, they don't want, he was telling about a story. They had taken a car to like strip club, and all the girls came out and they wanted to pose in front of it. And he's like, no, right. You can't post it. But he said once he had to go to Spain for 70 days.
Just as a car handler.
Yes, all expenses paid. 70 days in Spain.
Wow.
So it's there's all these cool opportunities out there. I mean, of course, that's not his job. He works for the company, but there's all these cool things that people are doing that some people may go. I mean, people still don't. I think people still don't respect like what I do as a job.
Right.
They're like social media. They think of Kim Kardashian.
Right.
And I'm like, no. If I told you, and I'm not, of course, doing it for money, but I mean, if I told you what these brands, they pay for content.
It has to be for money.
Yeah, part of it is for money, but for me, one of the most important things is a lot of the companies that I've worked with over the past year, as far as like the social media side, I'm like the only Black person.
Wow.
You know what?
The only Black person.
And I would consider that an honor.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
I do. I don't take it lightly. So the days that I'm not feeling social media, I'm thinking I am setting the standard.
You really are. You really are.
I'm setting the standard.
That reminds me of King Richard with Serena. talking about Richard Williams and Serena and Venus, or Venus and Serena, say them their age correctly. They were the only Black females in tennis.
Right. And look at them now.
They kicked the door down.
Yeah.
They didn't, I saw that, they said someone opened the window and they, that's for us to get in. And they're like, no, people like us, if the window is open and we go in, they're thinking we're robbing the place. We want the door to be open for us.
Right.
And when the door gets cracked, gets open, we're going to come in. We're going to kick it in. And that's what you've done.
Right.
The door was open and you went in full throttle.
Right.
And there's going to be so many young ladies that see you and be like, wow, Wooded Maven is the first one. I want to be like her. I want to do what she did. And I mean, you are a, what is that? Trendsetter.
Mm-hmm.
You a living legend already. And because you started this, you've opened the door.
And you work hard.
Hats off to you, 100%.
You work hard.
Yes.
Yeah. I can.
I'm doing the best that I could do with what I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The family's the most important thing. So I take care of them first, and whatever I have left over, I'm posting stuff and making stuff. And what I always tell people is I'm a collector of experiences, right? Like I get to do cool things. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, if that's all I have to show, I'm okay with that.
Wow. Right.
We got to go to NASCAR on someone else's dime and sit in the pit.
Right.
I don't even like racing, but just to be there and watch the pit crew. I mean, everybody's seen it on television, even on the movie cars, they pull up and they change, but to be there and to hear like the sounds and to see these guys, these, 6'5", just former quarterbacks lift these 80-pound gas cans and they can fill up a car in 4 seconds.
Right.
Man, just to be there to see that, it's just like, in what other life would I have the opportunity to sit there and be a part of that? And all I have to do is like hold my phone up and say, look where I am and look what we're doing and look at these guys. They're so cool. And they're just like,
wow. Pay the lady.
Yep. And I invested back in the kids. I'm like, all right, this is for your college. This is for your savings. This is for us to have fun.
So
this is for mommy's savings.
What would you say to a new business owner going off into something that they've never done before, but going into it full throttle? What would be your advice for them as far as branding and making their business successful like you've done with yours?
First, you have to be prepared to be broke. Be prepared to fail. And those things are okay, because you will not have a story. You will not have a testimony if you don't appreciate the journey that it took to get to wherever you want to go. If you, as far as branding yourself, you have to have some skin in the game, right? Because nobody is going to respect what you have to say unless you have some skin in the game. If you just pop up and say, I am the chief expert on gardening, right? And they're like, but like, where's your garden? Right. Like, why should I believe you? And unfortunately, we're in the day and age where if someone can't find any information on you on Google, on social media, they're not going to believe you unless you paint a lie, right? And social media is good for painting lies. I can make you believe anything.
Right.
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 But if that's who you want to be, whatever floats your boat. Mm-hmm. If you want to make people believe something, you're not, fine. But if you genuinely want to have a long-standing career and brand yourself, because that's hopefully what you're going for, is the go-to in catering, or the chief expert of landscaping, of gardening, of fashion, of makeup, of hair, of, jewelry, whatever, you need to make sure you align yourself with other people in your circle. Don't look at them as your competition, because unless someone has the exact same life setup as you, exact same life setup, you cannot compare yourself to them. Right?
Right. Sure.
It's hard because we're human. Right. We're like, oh, I wish I had their life. You don't know their life. You don't really know their life. You know what they told you, but you don't really know. Right. So I would say, don't compare yourself to anybody in what you're doing. Let your path be your path. And unfortunately/fortunately, you have to be present everywhere, right? I think it had to be 2019. Someone had reached out to me to do a Netflix show. And the guy, this is 2019, probably the middle or the end of 2019. And he says, I'm trying to pitch you to the production company, but it's just not enough stuff of you online. And I think about that a lot, and how quickly your life can change. If you Google me now, a bunch of stuff comes up.
Yeah.
I'll be hard pressed to not find out who I am. If you Google female woodworker, my picture comes up.
Wow.
And I just said, that was his opinion, right? That wasn't the right thing for me. But guess what? I didn't let that deter me. I stayed the course. I said, I want to be a woodworker. I want to teach. Whoever finds me, finds me. Whoever doesn't, doesn't. But if social media went away, would I still be doing this? Of course. The pay would be different, but I'd still be doing it. So for the people who are just starting out with a business, what I always ask people is, would you do that thing for no money? Would you start a catering business if you weren't going to get paid? And if they say no, they say you're doing it for the wrong reason.
You're right.
If you think that career is going to bring you happiness or money, and that's the only reason why you're doing it, for money, then your heart's not really in it.
Right.
Why are you doing it?
Like you said, when you start off, prepare to be broke.
Prepare to be broke.
Because you're going to be
exactly.
broke. That's just
for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ask me how I know.
What is the thing? You don't expect to really make any money when you first start a business for the first 5 years. That's how long you're really supposed to wait, 5 years. Some people do it faster. They do it sooner, depending on whether they know the industry that they're in or not. How big is their clientele base? What are you coming from that you're building up? So you can get there a little bit faster, but it's all contingent on things that you did previously.
It is. And then I would also say, don't expect your sweet spot to be what you initially thought. Right? Just to give that a real life application, I thought I was going to be this fine craftsperson.
Okay.
Right? Making this expensive, nice furniture. But I honestly didn't have the time to hone those skills. I just didn't. I still don't. But then I discovered teaching along the way.
Right.
And then I found that I love teaching people how to make rather than making myself. Because it's more about the satisfaction that I'm pushing out to the universe, more so than look what I made, right? But I'm making people great instead of making things that are great. And then people started, asking about television shows. And then I realized that nothing on TV is real.
Right.
it's just not.
No.
But that people were buying into Shar, my personality, right? And I'm like, but I was supposed to be this teacher person, right? And it's like leaning into wherever your career path takes you. And I say, nope, I'm only doing this and I'm not doing anything else. You have to be flexible. You have to be open.
Right.
As long as you stay in the area that your heart is in.
Right. Well, we are definitely grateful and thankful for all that you do and taking the time out to talk to us on our podcast. Now,
my pleasure. I'm proud of what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, you guys are connecting the dots and uplifting people and doing new and different things. And I'm so proud and so honored that you guys asked me to come on the podcast.
Thank you.
I hope you'll be at our retreat this coming year.
Yes.
I would love to.
Yes.
I would love to be there.
Yes. We missed you this past year, but we know.
I know.
We know you're getting things together.
Yeah.
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 So you definitely have to send us your agent information so we can book you. Make sure
Of course.
that weekend is free so you can be with us.
Yeah.
Of course. I can't wait.
Yes.
I know, right?
Right.
We're excited too.
We're very excited.
Yeah, maybe then I'll have my own show. And you could say television star, Shar, the Wood Maven
That part.
Yes.
will be here.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
You'll be one of our celebrity guests.
That part. For real.
Well,
Yeah.
we can find you at the Wooden Maven on Instagram or Wooden Maven.
Wooden Maven,
Wooden Maven
on Instagram.
Okay.
Wooden Maven
Yes.
on Instagram.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Shar. I know it's beyond the time for you over there on what is that, Eastern Standard Time. And again, we thank you so much for joining us on our podcast. And we hope to
Thank you for having me.
Please keep us abreast of any classes that you may be teaching over here on the West Coast,
Right.
so that we can participate.
I sure will.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Growing. I mean, we'll get to the point where we have the whole teleprompters and everything, the whole camera crew checking this and doing everything.
Right.
But in the meantime, in between time, we're here. Stacie, we can hear you, my dear. Yeah, we're here. There you go.
Hi, lady.
How are you?
I'm fine. No lashes today.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, ladies, what you got going on? What are we talking about today?
All right. So first, we would really like to get a little bit of information on you. So you're Stacie, and your company is
My company is Legal Ways.
Legal Ways. Can you tell us a little bit about Legal Ways and what you do?
Well, Legal Ways is this is a startup company, and I will be focused on preparing trust, stopping evictions. Anybody that finds themselves in a position where they are about to be evicted, because the pandemic, everything going on. So we're going to do stop evictions. We're going to do divorces with no children. Basic legal document preparation, because I'm not an attorney, nor am I able to actually give advice pertaining to the law, but I can do the document preparation, which is what Legal Ways is about. That's what we're going to do. So really a paralegal service.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. And we all need that.
Yep.
We don't wish divorce upon anyone, but in the event that you just can't and it just has to go that way, we do want it to be as amicable as possible and as easy. And like you said, you do a divorce with no children, because that is a lot easier than divorces with children, correct?
It gets a little complicated when you do it with children. And anybody that's doing it with children should seek a family law attorney.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we were speaking tonight about starting a business, the key elements to starting a business. What would you say some things are in starting a business? Because I know you've had a few businesses, so this is kind of something that you're versed in.
Well, the first business was inherited, although I had been doing other things prior to that. I was in sales. I had a sales background, computer sales. And the business I inherited was property. So I was a little overwhelmed with that, but it was 6 units. And basically that anytime you have 6 units or more, it's considered a business.
Okay.
And, basically that's, collecting rent, management, making sure that the tenants are, happy, that nothing's broken. Everything is moving along. But that's something that I did have an opportunity to delve into a bit. And I hope to get back into it one day. So, that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be, that's more property management. Anytime you have a property, that's really property management, which is, collecting the rents, paying the taxes, maintenance, stuff like that. Dealing with contractors and whatnot for repairs, plumbers, electricians, so that's
Now,
the type
was that
of business.
something you were doing? I know you said it was inherited. Now, was it something you were doing before you inherited?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, because I helped my mom a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So prior to you getting it, you already had like that.
Right, dealing with the city. Yeah, dealing with the city. So say for instance, there's something going on with the building, and it doesn't meet code. It's not up to code. Then you have to do the repairs. The city comes out, they check it, make sure it's okay. And if it's not, you stand a chance of your rents getting cut off, and those rents will go into an account until you fix it. So that means the money stops until you take care of what needs to be taken care of. So it can get intense. And so I went through that and made sure everything was up to code. And that's when you start dealing with, contractors and stuff like that, making sure the repairs are done.
So now that's totally different out of the lane from what you say your background is sales, right?
It was, totally different.
Okay. So it's like transitioning from one type of business to another.
Yes.
So what do you think some of the key elements are to starting a business that you could give advice to other women? I'm just going to say women because that's primarily what we're focusing on right now.
You know what? I would say really knowing what it is that you want to do and not vacillating, being very, very focused on what your end game is or what your goals are. And when you decide that you want to start a business, then it's best to actually have someone assist you in that. Sometimes we want to do things on our own. I don't advise that because it can become overwhelming and so time consuming. So, a company like SheEO, like that's a company you reach out to and like, hey, I need an LLC or I need a sole proprietorship or whatever it is. And that's where your expertise would come in. And, you would help guide that person and let them know some of the things that they need to do to, operate legally. A lot of times, we start businesses and we're half cocked. We're not, on paper, we're not correct. We want to be correct. We're going to do business. Let's do it correctly. And I think doing it correctly means having someone assist you in the paperwork, making sure that all your paperwork is in place. But sometimes people start before that. That's not the worst thing in the world to do. Some people just start working and start the business and then they backtrack and start putting those things in place. But you don't want to do that too long because, you can fall into, you start having issues. You want to make sure that you understand your tax obligation. You want to understand the way a LLC works. The legal ramifications, all of that. And those are things that I think why your company is so important to businesses or, people that are starting out, because I believe you've mastered that. And that's something that people need.
Right.
Yeah, they need that assistance.
What do you think about social media? promoting
Well,
your
I
business
think
on there?
social media is a great, and I love your the way that you have been consistently putting your how do you say it, advertising. Like when I see the SheEO and just every day, like you have something that's saying, "Hey, you guys, come on in," and you got to build momentum. So I think it's a great way that you're using it, building momentum and allowing people to see that you're being consistent. So you're imagining that people are logging in every day. They're going to start gaining knowledge. I just think it's an excellent way for people to start feeling good about what they're doing and know that they have an outlet or someone that they can reach out to with questions, advice. Yeah. So yeah, you're on the right track. That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
I know a lot of the things I do it old school too. I'm still into the write it down, and
Yeah.
I'm learning how to, you got to go on here and do this and do that. And I'm like, Lord. I'm like, everything
That's all right. That's
electronic
okay.
nowadays.
Yeah.
You got to learn it. You don't have a choice.
Yeah. But social media is so exciting and it's so engaging. You know what I'm saying? You know, the people are right there, you know, that you can just reach out to and they can reach back. So I think it's a great tool to use for business. And it's something we didn't have before. So we have to find out how to maximize it.
It's fast paced, it streamlines everything.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
Boom, boom, boom. And you want to get it done right now?
Yeah.
Here it go.
Right.
Right. And then these podcasts are very important so that, you know, we could talk about things that come up and, you know, like say, for instance, I run into a problem or there's something I don't understand, you know, that could be the topic. And guess what? It might be 200-300 people that might be having the same issue. So it's like you're addressing that problem that one time, but you're actually reaching, you know, quite a few people that might be having the same issue.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm so excited for you. And now I'm excited for me too. I'm really excited about doing something.
We're excited about your business, getting it all off the ground, getting it going. Yeah. I mean, and it's amazing that you have knowledge in so many areas. You've got the sales, then you've got the real estate or property management, and then the legal. I mean, wow, you have a plethora of skills that you can tap into and really build your brand and build your business off of.
Yeah, and you know what? I think about how much money I've made other people, especially when I was in sales. Literally millions of dollars. I think about the money that was made for someone else. Of course, I got a little bitty piece of the pie. But I've said to myself, how do you gear yourself up to be able to make money like that for someone else, but not yourself? So I'm very much an advocate for, you know, entrepreneurship, starting your own business, not being afraid to step out on faith, because that's really what it's going to take.
Right.
Like really, you have to be able to have that vision before you walk into it. And I had a young lady, I won't say her name. She might know who she is. I was going to go into a cleaning business. When I was 13, I started working. I just started doing what I saw my grandmother do, you know, cleaning houses. And then I was like, you know what? I want to open up my own cleaning business. And I had a young lady say to me, she says, well, aren't you a paralegal? Didn't you go to school for that? And I said, yeah. I said, yeah. She said, well, you mean to tell me you're not going to utilize that? She said, that's like your daughter becoming a lawyer. And one day she calls you and says, Mom, I'm going to wash windows.
It was me.
Totally changed my perspective, totally changed my whole view of what was important, knowing that my original passion was the legal profession. Right. And actually, and when I did it, oh my God, I got so into it. I remember the person I was working for had gotten me a room. That's how much I was into the work, like literally. And it was a room right across the street from the job. And I just poured myself into that. And I have a natural love for it. And I thought about it, and she's right, because I don't have a natural love for cleaning toilets.
See?
So I had to think about it. And it wasn't that I was going to be doing the work. I just thought about, wait a minute, this is something I understand. I know, you know, my daughter's an attorney now, so I could always call her ask questions. You see what I'm saying? Got her right, she's like my right hand, and I can call her and she can give me information, because you have to be careful. You don't want to give people bad information.
Exactly.
But I thought about what that young lady said, and it motivated me. So I do thank her.
It did.
I think her name is Shonda. Shonda, yeah, you opened my eyes, girl.
I'm glad. And that's one of the things that we endeavor to do, is when we see or hear something, just say, you know what, wait a minute. That don't sound right. You know how to do this, tap into that. It's called empowering someone else in their gift. And that's your gift. We're not going to let you sit on that. We're not going to let you put that on the shelf, knowing full well that that's something that you are gifted at and something that you are skilled at. Empower other women.
Yeah, it's something I really like to do. Like, it's something that I don't know why I'm like that, but I just feel there are some things that we have a knack for, or we're more prone to do well because we like it. So I'm always, I forgot to mention bankruptcy. So now I got to go start studying again. It doesn't take a long time. It's like riding a bike.
Right.
So now I go back, I study chapter 7s and chapter 13, so that I'll understand that, when I'm preparing the document, I understand the right questions to ask the client, so that it all makes sense once the final paperwork is done. So, just looking forward to helping people in those areas, because people don't realize it, but those are some things that can kind of set you back. You say, for instance, you married and you just like, man, this is just like, some people annul their marriages. I mean, you do it and you realize, oh my God, what have I done? So then you want to just get it out the way, quick divorce, get it out the way. Somebody like me comes along and just makes it happen. I remember doing it years ago for somebody. That girl she just loved me from that day forward, because I helped her with that divorce. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And I remember that. And then even the bankruptcy, attorneys are very expensive when you do bankruptcies. The paralegals don't charge as much. Yeah, paralegals don't charge as much. But if you have an attorney in court, of course, that costs more if you're going to have some type of representation. But if not, it's really, you're going in pro per. You have somebody preparing your paperwork, and it's the same. You're going to go into the bankruptcy court, and they're going to either discharge your debt or you're going to reaffirm it. So, that's basically just, reading and understanding what it is that you're reading, and being able to express that to the client, letting them know what I can't legally tell you what to do. But usually by the time a person's ready to do a chapter 7 or 13, they pretty much know what it is they want to do. Right. They're going to discharge their debt. Right. So this is your opportunity to discharge it. They're a little stricter than they used to be. I mean, you used to file a 7 and all your debt, whoop, it's a little different now, and that's what I want to study and find out about. The difference between a 7 and a 13. 13s, you usually are reaffirming a debt. The 7s usually discharges it all. And then there's certain things that won't go away, like child support, taxes. But everything else is dischargeable. Yeah.
I know.
So, yeah.
I did it twice.
Twice, see?
Twice. That's why I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It is.
And then it goes hand in hand with what you ladies are doing, because when you talk about credit repair, there's some people where, no, we can't repair this.
Right.
We need to discharge this. We're going to start over. And that's okay.
That's true.
That's okay.
That's so true.
Yep.
Yeah. And people need to know that, and they need to understand that. But to live a life of just bad credit for the rest of you, I mean, it's just, you're really cheating yourself. When you get to that point.
What you just said is key. Like I said, I did it twice, because sometimes it does take, I did it when I was really young, like, what was it, 20 years ago, 2000, 21 years ago. And then, you don't really know what you're doing, and then you get yourself caught up again. And that's what sparked the credit repair was because we had accumulated, it was my second marriage, accumulated the same debt, well, actually more the second time. And I'm like, okay, like you said, I need a fresh start.
I need a fresh start.
And I'm not even about to do all of this. But in that process, even after the second bankruptcy, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
We
What?
found ourselves accumulating debt again.
Yeah.
Because it happens, you know.
That's the way it goes sometimes. Yeah.
And it did. And it was like, okay, now I don't want to do a third one. So what do I do? At this point, I don't have a choice. I got to repair it.
So you repaired it.
You know.
Great.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for those of you that don't know, Stacie is my mentor.
That's what she tells everybody. But I think you were my mentor.
You know why? You know why I look up to this lady? Because this is one of the most resilient women I know. Like,
yeah, I have to second that.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? And one of the strongest ladies that I know. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I admire that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I do thank you. I'm glad somebody paid attention.
That. Oh yeah. I've always looked up to them. I'm like, when I met her, I was in my 20s. And I'm 47 now, y'all. So you know how long it's been.
You did pick my brain apart, Ursula.
I sure did. I wanted to sit with her. I wanted to, just be in her presence.
Asked a lot of questions.
I wanted to know, what to do, how to do. And she was just like, come on. Just you gonna sit with me. You're gonna do some ride-alongs because I was in sales. I was in sales with her at a large corporation. And she was the top dog. She was the woman. And I'm like, who is that? I want to listen to her. I want to hear what she doing. They're like, oh,
is that what you told my supervisor?
Honey, yes. And they were like, that's like if she lets you listen to her, And I'm like, well, I want to know. I want to see because it wasn't too many of us there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I want to know. I want to ask her, and I was just like, I'm looking up I want to know.
But you did good too, Ursula. You did well too.
But that was after I had listened to you, and I had learned, from you, and it was like they were telling me this thing where you sound like an angry black woman on the phone, big black angry woman on the phone.
Or I'm talking to someone that I know. That was the one I used to hear that all the time. If you walk by her desk, it sounds like she's talking to some. Yeah, my clients, the customers, they were my friends. Yeah, they became my friends. They were very loyal.
I learned from you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
They were
Listening
very
to
loyal.
her, her conversations were personable, but you were to the point.
Yes,
and you got directly to what it was.
I was dealing with NASA. So I was dealing with scientists and get literal rocket scientists. Right. So my supervisor would always say to me, Stacie, always remember who you're talking to. So what I learned was, I can be flippant with some of my clients, but not all of everyone's not going to receive that ebonics or, whatever. It doesn't mean I have to change my personality, but sometimes you tone it down, sometimes you turn it up. So I would kind of mirror the people that I would deal with so that I would, so they were comfortable. I didn't want to take them out of their comfort zone because keep in mind, you need to be listening to them. They're not there to listen to you. They're the customer. So I had to learn how to sit and listen to people about, like sometimes people will call me telling me their problems and I'd be like, ooh, Lord, geez. But that's what would happen. And then we'd have a little conversation. Next thing you know, we go back to talking about how many computers they needed or, what their acquisition list looked like. So, as the years went by, people get burnt out. You get burnt out after a while. But I was just thinking the other day, I miss it.
Yeah, but you know what? Also, I had to learn how to deal with, and she taught me this very well. We were in a very male-dominated industry, and with us being women in that industry, you have to get tough skin, almost like leather, and so that's the reason for. I
got teased a lot.
Yes, the tough skin. Like you have to learn how to,
I heard a lot of things. Like the guys didn't believe I was going to do well when I first started, and they would make, she's just lucky, or it was always some excuse why I did well, but they didn't know I spent hours trying to figure out, honest to God, when I first started outbound sales, I was clueless. And I remember sitting there going, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a company and that first quarter, the numbers was wrong. And the way I learned was from my mistakes starting out. And the mistakes I would make, I would look and say, "Ooh, I don't never want to do that again." So I was so careful with making sure that my numbers were right. And in making sure my numbers were right, my quotes were put together, a certain way, and practice makes perfect. After a while, when I got that down, it was like, okay, the sky's the limit. They had a minimum for us to call. They had a minimum for us to call 100 people a day. So, that was something that was outrageous. We didn't do no 100 a day, but we made sure that we would get back to the customers that we knew were possibly going to buy from us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I was telling Shonda today, it's called a CRM, a customer relationship manager.
I didn't hear that part.
No, I was telling Shonda today, it's called a CRM, a customer relationship manager, a system like that, I was explaining to her she was like, I said, when you say CRM to certain people, they're going to know what I'm talking about.
Right. Exactly what you're talking
about. Stacie knew exactly what I was talking about when I said it, because she was like, well, we should just say the whole, I said, no, say the acronym.
You say the acronym and
like CRM.
Yeah.
And then that brings me to another point. In order to be a great leader, you have to start off as a follower.
That's right.
Every great leader aligns themselves with someone and they learn from that person. So whenever someone says, "Oh, you're just a follower," yes, you're right, because I plan on being a great leader.
Yeah, that's what it says. Lead, follower, get out of the way.
Exactly.
And a lot of people
lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
I like that.
And you have to find that person that you can follow so you can lead somebody else.
And learn.
And you're going to follow them and learn. Then you can reach back and lead other people. And those people that you reach back to lead, they're going to in turn reach back and lead somebody else. And the cycle just keeps going.
It just keeps going.
Have leaders who are willing to pick up followers, and followers who are willing to follow, then become leaders.
Absolutely. You say, I couldn't have said it better. And anybody who doesn't understand that obviously hasn't wrapped their head around anything, because I don't know how anyone could think that is anything wrong with you being a follower. Now, it's very important that you make sure that the person you're following, is doing the things that you want to emulate.
Exactly.
You see that they're successful. Why wouldn't I follow someone that's successful?
Right.
The no-brainer.
That's what mentors are.
Yeah.
Mentors are leading you in the direction for success. That's what you get a mentor. I need to learn from you. I need to learn how to do this the right way. So it's essentially the same thing.
Right.
So, There's nothing wrong. You got to be a leader. I mean, a follower to become a leader.
Yeah.
Become a leader. Right.
Exactly.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, and I admire the way you girls, you women, are working together.
Thank you.
It's very difficult for us to come together and work together. So, and I don't know what that's about, but I'm looking to see a change in that area. More women coming together, starting businesses, and more women understanding that we owe it to each other to try to understand each other and to and to feed off of each other. Like, where I'm weak, you are strong,
I think because being in the arena that we're in, choosing to most predominantly work with women, we do work with men, but we predominantly work with women. However, there are a lot of women that do come together and work together. And we've learned that. I think it was just in certain areas we can't work together, and it's a certain type of industries that we kind of clash. You know what I mean? It's a lot of competition. A lot of what's the other word I'm looking for? It's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of
the J word.
I don't want to use that word. I didn't want to use the E one either, but I guess that's what
that's
a
what
lot
it
of
is. Jealousy and enviousness.
With a lot of women in certain industries.
And you know what? And that can even be addressed too, because once women are secure in themselves and who they are, honestly, you really have this is my opinion. Once you're secure with you, I'm not going to look at another woman to envy or be jealous of someone else because there's no me.
Right.
No one's thumbprint is alike.
Right.
I can't be you. You can't be me. So it's finding out who you are and loving you in a way that, you know, you're not intimidated by other women. I don't care. You know, first of all, there's always going to be someone prettier. There's always going to be someone richer. Compete with yourself.
Right.
What do I care about what someone, if you're doing well in life, kudos. I'm just trying to work on me doing well. So if I spend so much time worrying about what you're doing, I'm not going to be focused on what I need to do.
But it's certain industries that I've learned that only exist. Like in the industry that we're in, everybody embraces one another. You know what I mean? The women, like it, I guess it's because I don't want to say more in the professional field, but more in the, but that's really what it is. More in the professional fields, the women that are more, you know, are more professional. It's no dividing and
well, it may have to do with maturity too, Ursula.
That too. But I just noticed that we don't really have a problem as women working together. We actually work together very well.
Very well.
Than we do with men, because men tend to dominate and they want to take over.
Right.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Women involved, they want to just make you be quiet and go sit down to the side and just look pretty and don't say nothing.
This does happen quite often.
Right.
I mean, I was in business with my husband and Stacie, you know.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying? And we work together, but a lot of the time we like, because I know I'm
like two rams.
I know it's no such thing, but I call myself an alpha female. I know it's not really such thing, but he's the alpha male for real. And we and it's like, we can't, you know it because you.
But I think he rubbed off on you in a way that helped you to mature in a way where you realize that I don't got to worry about that. I'm secure in my own space, and I'll take what I need. Yeah, you can feed off of them.
I totally agree with you guys. However, I'm gonna say, however, I feel as though when women work with men, the men tend to dominate, and they tend to you, like I said, you go over here, and I mean, I know everything. You to be quiet,
right?
I'm gonna talk.
They always take the stance of they know more than we do, even when they don't. It's just that's just the whole persona and that they bring to the
it is.
You know, we gotta give them their credit. They are the builders, and they you know, James Brown said it best. This is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl.
And Beyonce said it too. Girls run the world.
Yeah. So we know what time it is, right? We know what time it is. So we just need to find our little space in the world where we can do what we need to do so that we can care for ourselves and for our children and help make the world a better place.
I love our men. I do. They're protectors, providers, you know.
Right. Those that are.
Oh, you're right. Right.
Because a lot of our men need to grow.
There's a space for them to grow to that.
Yes. Right.
You know. Right. And I think as long as we have those men who are already there and they're already those protectors, those providers, those kings in place, they can help these young men to attain that same status.
Absolutely.
And then us as women also promote and push them towards that goal. It's like, okay, you know, you don't have to stay where you are. You don't have to be this. You can be better. You can be a protector. You can be a provider. Here are the tools. Follow this man.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
And we don't have enough of that. We just don't have enough of them saying, look at me. I made it. You know, I won't name names, but I mean, I know someone very close in my own family made it, but has never tried to reach back and say, hey, well, you know, let me mentor you. Let me kind of show you the ropes, or, So you have a lot of selfishness that I find is prevalent sometimes in our community. I really don't like that. And then I find that a lot of times there's this weird elite that, it's like, I got mine, you get yours. And that's so unfortunate because there's really enough it's enough to go around.
And that's where that strong woman that's by that man's side comes into play and saying, look, no, you are going to do this. You are going to help this person. You've attained this status. Come on, let's do this.
Let's do this together.
Get that young man and show this.
She should encourage it. There should be some sort of encouragement.
There has to be.
And people shouldn't feel like you're untouchable.
Exactly.
Well, I think a lot of the times we just people don't want to create a competition for themselves. They don't want to create a competitor and say, dang, I did this. I created this. And now look what I'm dealing with because I showed them this, that, and this. So a lot of times that is what it could be too. You don't.
Well, honestly, I just think it's some Willie Lynch stuff going on, and it's been going on, and it's going to keep going on until we really wrap our heads around the fact that if we don't do it for ourselves, no one else is going to do it for us. It's time to actually take ownership of our lives and understand that starting a business basically is saying to yourself, I need to survive. Like I need to work, and I don't have to always go out and go ask someone to give me a job. I have enough resources where I can create my own job.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I think with the pandemic, I think that actually sparked a lot of business owners. I think that actually kick-started a trend now where a lot of people, they're actually having problems with hiring people. People are not wanting to work for other people anymore because a lot of people during the pandemic, even though it was a crisis, it created a lot of freedom for people too.
Yes.
And they were like off work and they're like, oh my God, like I could be home with my kids and I can actually be a mother now. And then the dads were like, well, dang, this is time for me to have to think and reflect on the things that I really wanted to do. And now I can do that because it created it opened more doors than it closed, I think.
Well, you got to always remember, God is in control. And whatever needs to be used in order to get people's attention, I feel like that's going to happen as well. And I think that people had an opportunity to learn about each other. Like to me, it taught me more empathy. It had me become more patient. There's a lot of things that I think the pandemic addressed, and good and bad. Unfortunately, we lost so many people, and my heart goes to anybody. It goes out to anyone that's lost a loved one. That was the travesty. But then you have to look at what was the good that came out of it.
Right.
And I think that's one of them, driving people to start their own businesses and to be self-sufficient. I think that's one of the things that it did.
Right. Well, they say turn a tragedy into a triumph. That's what I believe. You turn it around.
Yeah.
And make a rainy day and turn it into a sunny one.
Yeah.
Man, like
we need the rain.
And it gets tough.
Right.
It gets tough. I used to hear people talk about multiple streams of income. And I used to say, well, yeah, I hear you, but I don't hear you. No, I hear you loud and clear. It's no longer, this person goes and gets a job and they got their 401k and they pension rolling in. There's no guarantees. So you have to be adaptable. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to be consistent with whatever it is that you've started doing. And you just have to, I think sometimes passion helps too. Like if you're passionate about what you're doing, and then having wanting to help people.
Right.
That's very important. And because I just think about how some people, man, just good people, but they don't really know what to do. Right. And then here come you. What's going on? What, you talking to them. They say a few things to you, you pick up on it. Next thing you know, you helping them form an LLC. You're giving them advice. You're letting them know they could do it.
If they listen.
Right.
Because it's a lot of people, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't
make them drink.
And you can tell them till you blue in the face and they don't hear you. And then it's like when everything flatlines,
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, wait a minute. You know what I mean?
You know the people want it, but they don't want to work. A lot of people just want it, but they're not willing to do what it takes.
True. That's so true.
To get it.
That part.
They think that somehow because you just think that you want to drive a Bentley, that you're just going to drive a Bentley because you think that.
Right.
I seen a brother today in this Bentley. He was very nice. He nodded. You know, me, I'm rolling around in my little jalopy, which I'm loving. Because I had no attention on me, nothing. You know, like, brother, you a target.
Right.
You feel me? You out here in South Central in a Bentley, dude. I'm praying for you because we got people out here trying to get a hamburger.
Right.
You know, but he shouldn't feel bad because he made some moves. If he's making the right moves, I don't know how he got the Bentley. But if he's doing the right thing and he's a businessman and he worked for that, he has every right to drive that car anywhere he wants to. And be a testimony for people that come up and talk to him about it.
You're right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I basically, my thing is, I don't judge people based on what they drive anymore because, you know me, Ursula, I've had Mercedes, BMW. I've had all of that. I know what that's like.
Right.
And it's cool. Don't get me wrong. But what I learned was I wasn't appreciating some of the things that God was blessing me with. So trust me, the Lord gives and he will take away. So get the lesson so that the next time I go and I get something, I'll be more grateful. I'll be more appreciative, which is very important that we have to really learn to be grateful.
Right. Right.
And if you stay grateful, you'll stay blessed.
Right. So true. Yeah. So true.
So that's just women of wisdom. That's what women of wisdom is when I drop them nuggets. And I want you guys to pay attention because there's blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of times you talk to a person, you don't know their background, but a lot of times we've been through so much. And so the testimony, you want people to hear it and know that you're not alone. Whatever you're dealing with or going through, I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to encourage each other. A lot of times you got to encourage yourself. I've been encouraging myself a lot because I'm getting older. I'm an older female. I've raised my children and they're gone. And, you know, but that doesn't mean my dreams die. That doesn't mean I stop living. That doesn't mean that, I'm too old to do. I'm not too old to do nothing.
That part.
So I don't look at my age as a factor in stopping me from doing my business. What I look at it as, I have accumulated a wealth of information and I would like to take that information in my golden years and strike gold.
That's right. That's it. Yeah. Well, we have appreciated you and we thank you so much.
Thank you.
For all of what you have told us and all of what
thank you so much for you guys chiming me in at the last minute. Next time I'm going to need at least 24 hours notice.
Okay.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed this, you guys. You know, I'm proud of you.
Yes.
You know, I'm proud of you girls. And I just want to see us do great things. I feel we're on our way. We're on our way. Looking forward to the next retreat.
Yes. We are.
Yeah. But before we have that, we have a SheEO barbecue.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
Yes. And we know this year Stacie's probably going to be a speaker for us, right?
Oh, absolutely, girl. You know, I'm reinventing myself.
That's right. She's going to be like,
yeah. You know, I went to
come back for the comeback.
Okay. Man, listen, you know, what they say, minor setback for a major comeback.
That's it.
That's that part right there. Yeah. That's the testimony, Ursula. Like, how can I speak about anything if I haven't gone through anything? You understand what I'm saying? But here's the deal. I'm good. I don't want to go through no more. I just now I want to walk in my purpose. Now it's like, okay, I've had enough chastisement. I've got spanked enough. You know what I'm saying? Let me heal. Right. Let me heal and let me go and do what it is I know that I'm purposed to do.
Well, like they say, in every lesson is a blessing. So,
Amen.
you know what I mean? So that's basically what it boils down to.
Absolutely.
You know, so we learn.
Yeah.
And we know now what not to do. And moving forward.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I know now what not to do.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. So we are going to, we definitely hope that you come back.
Yes.
After, you know, things are going and you get going and we're going to see where you at.
Exactly. Well, I'm excited. And you guys have all my information. You're putting all my stuff together. I sent you a client today. That's not going to stop. That's not going to stop. So that now my mind is set like that, where it wasn't before. So now I get it. Click. I'm in.
You in?
Yeah, I'm in.
And then it was just that one phone call?
Well, no, it wasn't the one phone call. You know what it is? It's just like when you get it,
you get it.
You get it.
Get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes there's been times that Ursula knows where I fought it.
Right.
No, Ursula, I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you decided to stop.
Ursula be like, Stacie, well, what you doing, Stacie? I want you. Right. No, I'm doing this.
Right.
And so, but she's always been a patient person. She's patient with me till she couldn't be patient no more.
With certain people, I'm patient.
Not everybody.
Right. Well, you gave me a lot of rope, but I was mourning the death of my mom, and I always say to people, when you're mourning, don't make any major purchases.
Right.
If you came into something, don't touch it. Give yourself time to heal. Yeah. Because you'll use your money like it's like you're so sad that you'll just go out and start spending because you're trying to.
It's true.
Yeah, you're trying to make the pain go away. It doesn't go away that way.
It doesn't. Right. No, you don't make any major decisions.
No major decisions.
For at least 2 years.
2 years.
At least 2 years. No purchases, no sales.
Right. Now, I'm not saying don't go buy your little some here and there.
Right. But we're talking about no major purchase.
No sales of property.
No sales of property. No sales of
no luxury car purchases.
No, you don't.
So that's from experience. I was doing everything wrong.
Now we're going to bring you back on another podcast and we can talk about the estate planning and we can go deep into that. And we can bring up that topic about this, selling or attaining any new assets.
Yes.
Okay.
The living trust, which everyone should have that has. Man, I don't care if you got $5,000 in assets. You need to be able to tell your trust where you want your $5,000 to go. Anything you've accumulated in this life, I'm sorry, you can't take it with you.
Can't take it with you. Yep.
Pick somebody.
When you're child, it could be your cousin. Yep. Make
it make sense. Yeah. And a lot of us don't want to do that. I don't know why. I don't know why some people feel like, well, I don't know if it's superstition. Like if I do a trust,
that's okay. We'll save that for our next podcast.
Yeah. I get emotional behind those types of things.
I know so do I. I'm very passionate about that as well.
Yeah.
But again, thank you so much for coming on our podcast.
Well, thank you for having me,
joining us, and we will see you soon.
And we're going to have all of your information. Yes, we're going to have it up here so that people know how to get in contact with you.
Okay, and I look forward to it. Thank you, ladies.
Guys. Thank you.
Bye. Much love to you. Much love. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. How do we don't know how to do it. We don't know how to take her.
I know. She got to
hang it up.
Yeah, well, you got to click hang up.
Where do I hang? Oh, there is the phone. Boom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But I've hit it more than once and it's not doing it. Oh, here we go. You got to push at the top. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
It's not doing it. Okay, there it goes. I think I took a picture off, but it didn't take.
Well, everyone, this has been a great podcast.
It
we
has
have gotten so much information. We had wonderful guests, and we look forward to all of our upcoming guests. We look forward to seeing you all next week. Hope that you have a great rest of your week and a wonderful weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And you can reach us at SheEO Boss on Instagram, SheEOBoss.com.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
And we want you to subscribe and like.
What is it? Click. What is it? Like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. And if you want to be a guest on this podcast, get at us. All you have to do is send us a DM.
Or an email.
Our email. Or you can even, I think could they contact us through the website?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
SheEOBoss.com. You can contact us through our website.
Right.
You can also reach us on Instagram.
Right.
SheEO Boss on Instagram.
Right. And we we were on here so long, we didn't even really get a chance to do our shout outs again that we were supposed to do. And I'm sorry, you guys, but we will be having those on the next one. And we won't be so long winded, but we really had some good guests tonight, and they had a lot of information to share. And I'm so proud of Wood Maven, and I'm proud of Legal Ways, Miss Stacie Williams, and Miss Shar King. So so we are happy that you guys joined us. Thank you so much again from SheEO Boss. And we are checking out.
We're out.
Good night, you guys.
Good night.